Always check which camera's connected before you go live. This seems a bit off. I don't know what's happened here. Is that square? I can't get it to go square. It's because it's not directly going backwards. Hello, John Paul Glasgow. Looks like there's only me and you here. I feel too crappy to go out today, so I decided to go live. Steve's gone for hair done, and I've got an hour to myself, so I thought I'd do it. Bruce T, how are you doing? Longest intro on YouTube in the world, as Tim would say. Yeah, it's a minute too long. I've just been doing another one, to be honest, and I got bored with it halfway through and thought, I'll just use this one. So I need to go back and do that again, really. It wants a minute cutting off it at the very least. The reason we do that, the intro, is to, obviously, it's a random live. So, it makes people know that you're going live. You have to excuse me, I've got the lurgy. Which doesn't seem to be getting any better, although I actually managed to go to sleep last night for the first time in a week. So, decaf coffee is the choice, the brew of today. I'm going to Viva España next week, so hopefully the warm weather will get rid of it. But it's starting, it's starting to feel that time where, do I need to go for some antibiotics? I don't really want to go down that route if I can get away with it. That must be nearly square, is it? It just looks a bit wonky. I think if you actually managed, if I'd had the table a bit further up there and then the camera pointing all the way back, just like that, I think we'd have got away with that. Oh, it gives you time to prepare. All right, yeah. Well, I don't know what you would prepare for, really. Anyway, that's the way it is. I've been waiting for a picture to come. I got a really nice picture when we was in Frigliana. And I sent it off to one of those internet things, and they took me money. And I've just looked; I've never had a confirmation email. It hasn't turned up yet, so hopefully it will do. And the person I ordered the frame off to go with it, they sent it through. I can't remember which one. One of the shittiest bloody one that never actually sends out. I can't think what they call him. I'll tell you in a minute. And according to this, it's on stop for some reason. But they reckon they tried to deliver it on Saturday. The business was closed. God knows. I don't know where they're supposed to be sending that to. But good thing it was Amazon. You always get your money back, don't you, really? I'll tell you which one it was. A bloody nuisance, anyway. The usual one that everybody complains about. 5 days when Saturday. I think it's every. The last one, I ordered a bread bin off eBay because we broke the top on the other one. And it's a fairly old one, so I bought a second-hand one off eBay. And that took a week to come. So, just goes to show you what they're all like, doesn't it? So how are we all doing today? It's a bit grim and cool here. Been down, had a couple of tyres on the car, which has needed doing for a week or so. I'm pleased I actually did it on my day off because it took ages when I was supposed to be working. And the worst thing in the world is when you're sat in the garage having something done and the bloody phone keeps ringing. So that's been my day so far. My granddaughter, my youngest granddaughter, has been for a few hours. She normally goes to the childminders, but she's got bronchitis, poor little sod. She's got the same chest as the female members of the family, where every time she gets a bit of a cold, it goes through to her chest properly, so she's a bit rough. So she's on the steroids at 2 years old. But this time last year, she ended up in hospital with it. She gets bronchitis, and then it gets so she can't get her oxygen levels, and they ended up putting her on a bloody mess for a couple of days. So anyway, hopefully she'll be fine. To say I'm all packed. I've been and got my euros. 112, I think it was. 112, 120? 120 maybe. No, 112 it'd have been. When I'm in Benidorm on Monday. We fly in on Monday morning, and we're going for a week. So I've got my cameras ready, and I'm going to have a wander around and do some filming while I'm there. When did you go then, Bruce? Was it August or something like that? You really enjoyed it, didn't you? I'm looking forward to going. I love it there. I just like being there. We're in the Pelicanos or the Ocas, depending which one they decide to put us in. Probably the Ocas, I'd have thought. I suppose it just depends. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 of us going, or eight of us going. So it should be a good do. I've got a couple of cousins I ain't seen for years, and they're coming. And my brother, and then the lad who I work with, he's coming with me. We always go away together, me and him. We've been to Lanzarote and all over. We filmed all over Lanzarote once before I got really filming and before I got the proper cameras. So we just did it on a phone and a gimbal. So I'm quite looking forward to that. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to go. I get on really well with Nigel, the TikTok Nigel. So I'm going to meet up with him, and just the general thing: eat, drink, and be merry. But not alcohol anymore. I have to get used to the diet pop, when I really. Such is life. You can't enjoy yourself too much. It was spot on. I think YouTuber Yorkshire Lee is going to be there this weekend. I've heard of him. Grummet, I don't know if you watch TikTok, but Benidorm Grummet, he was there this week. He's just going home. And it looks like, what's the Scotsman in Tenerife? I can't remember what his channel's called now. He started posting videos from there. So whether they're old ones, I mean, that's the thing with me. By the time they come up, it'll be middle of November. But I might go live on TikTok there, see if I can get a few subscribers on that. Because Nigel does pretty well. My quest for fame. The only thing you've got to watch out with with YouTube is if you're going around the English Square, you've got all the live music, all the noisy music, and you get a copyright strike for that. I'd have thought. It could be that. Are we done? I'm just going to keep messing about this camera. No, that makes it come out the older. So there we go. I was there last week. I was in Tenerife. Yeah, I don't catch a lot of his. His videos have took a bit of a dive on the views, haven't they? He's a cracking bloke, but they just took a bit of a dive on the views, and it makes you wonder why. Because he's a good lad. But I suppose it's one of them things where maybe people can't afford to go away, so they don't want to watch places. I don't know, but he does really well. I used to follow the McMaster. I think he's all right. I used to follow that other bloke from Tenerife, but he did a good friend of mine a bit of a disservice, so I fell out with him straight away. I've never watched another thing. Even with the car hire place, I don't bother watching him anymore. Because I'm a bit like that. It was a friend of mine who was a genuine bloke, and he just put a bit of a comment on his thing, so they threw him out of his Facebook group because they're all a bit up their own arse, some of them, aren't they? So I thought, well, I shan't bother with you anymore. And so that's that. So I follow Tim. I catch a few of his, depends what time I get up in the morning. I like to watch his walks and that. If I lived out there, that's exactly what I'd do, to be honest, just go around walking. But where Tim is in Calliope, I like it there because it's a nice place and it's not quite as full on as Las Americas. But I love Benidorm. I like it. I'm not, the plastic bars with all the loud noise. I'm not quite as interested in them. But I never have been. I like to go somewhere where you can sit outside and talk and have a vape and that. But we'll see anyway. See what happens. The first time I've been there and not been drinking, so it'll be interesting to do. Scotsman took a dive because he changed his channel name. Andrew in Tenerife, I can't stand him. Oh well, I'm pleased it's not just me then. But a really good friend of mine, I don't know whether he'd met him, but they were in the Facebook group, and somebody said about what's the best car hire in Tenerife. So my mate jokingly put, I think it's Avis or something like that. He just put something daft like that. And that was it. He was thrown out of the group and disgraced, So I thought, well, if he's going to be like that, if you can't have a bit of a joke in there, there's no point. That's the thing with Facebook groups, though. I've noticed if you go in there, there's people that probably didn't try hard at school or they failed to get in the police force, and they give him a moderator's badge in the Facebook group, and they turn into a member of the Stasi or the KGB or something like that. And it's like, oh, you've not put a dot on your eye there. We'll throw you out. And it just removes all the sense of fun. It's, that's why you notice on this, there's a few moderators on this. On the other channel I've got to do with vaping, nearly everybody's a moderator because we worked it out in the end that anybody what come in that was a bit heavy-handed, the other person, they can't throw anybody out because everybody else is a moderator. But with this one, I thought, well, we'll not put so many on as I did before. I thought that Andrew was really good for a start, but they just get right up their own bloody back end, don't they? They think they're famous, like. I mean, if as a YouTuber, if you meet another YouTuber, they're just YouTubers, aren't they? Well, apparently, if you're a singing star, you know, a famous singer, and you meet another singer, you just think, oh well, they're in the same league as us, regardless of who they are. But some people, you know, they get a few followers on YouTube, and they seriously think that they've cracked bloody Hollywood, really. But it's just nothing, is it? Really, it's just, you know. We used to go to the Vape Expos, and I came back from there, and I just, there was a couple sort of looking across to us, because obviously we've been doing these shows for a long time. And I just shouts across, "Are you all right? You're having a good time?" And just talking to them. And when I got home, somebody left a comment on one of the videos, and it was obviously them. "Oh, it was really nice of you to talk to us." And, you know, it's like, well, I drive a taxi for a living, and I was sat next to Benny, and Benny's a gas engineer. You know, we're all just people. No, I'm not like that at all. No, I'm not. I'm really not like that. No, not in any way, shape, or form. If I got a trillion followers, I wouldn't be like that. You know, I'm happier sitting in a group of people, just as friends. That was a good thing with the Vape Expos. You go there and you've been speaking to people online, and you just all sit around in a circle and chat just the same. Just, you know, it's nice. It's just nice to meet people. But anyway, that was interesting last night when that guy asked about that photo up there, because I say I was supposed it's Geordie Brearley, and he died at 53 years old of a stroke, and he was he was a Yorkshire miner, and he was on the picket lines. I'd forgotten about that. Thank God you're not that type. Yeah, I finished that challenge anyway. 30 days doing a video every day. And now they've moved on to long form. I'm only going to do one of them, because I think it involves joining onto a course, which was quite expensive, and I don't really want to do that. I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. It was a nice community and a good laugh to be with people. But I don't really want to... I don't feel as if I want to spend a load of money to become a better YouTuber, really. I don't know how you actually do become a really successful YouTuber, but if I only ever, you know, just make a few scrapings through the AdSense, if I eventually manage to get this channel up to 1,000, I think that'll be about as where I want to go. It would be good if you did some lives from Benidorm. Yeah, I'm going to. I've got plans of doing that. The only problem is, I've got a Hohem gimbal. And the thing is with a gimbal, if they set so the picture doesn't shake as you're walking down the road, then they've got an electric motor in there, so they've got battery power. So you've got to carry them in your hand luggage. Well, by the time you get the Action 4, you've obviously got to put the batteries in for the Action 4. Then if you want to go live, you've got to put these in there as well. And it all ends up, and it weighs a kilo before you've done, or a couple of kilos before you've done. And it's a job to drag it across the airport, to be really honest. That's the only problem. So if I take the selfie stick that I can put in my case, it's not spring loaded, or it's not. So as you're walking along, it'll vibrate. But I'm thinking of doing something. I'm actually thinking, I think I'm going live on TikTok as well. Probably see if I can get the followers up on there. We don't need to see the sticky show though. No, I didn't bother with that, to be honest. We were in, I can't remember the name of the bar. It was that we were sat outside the front, the one where the bloke stands outside on the stilts, and we were just outside there because I vape and I don't really want to go inside anyway. I try and avoid going inside for the simple reason that when you get back in October, you'll be inside until bloody March or April. So I like to be outside if I can. I love sitting outside. And I mean, like when we were in Spain a few weeks ago, me and my wife never had a meal inside the whole time we were there, because it's such a luxury to be outside and it's nice and warm and that. So I tried to do that. So we were sat outside there, and I needed to go. She come on, and everybody went through to watch her inside. But it was a bit more like a seedy stripper. And then there was a big doorman all stood round us to make sure nobody went anywhere near. And I thought, well, this isn't me at all. It's not really me. I'm not. So I only sort of had a quick glance as I went to the toilet and then come back. So I didn't really look at that. I enjoyed that. They let you vape inside if you go in Chaplin's, is it? And that one on a Segway, I thought that was hilarious. So I watched that. That was funny. But that's, I say, because I said, somebody said it was earlier on in the evening, and they said, oh, we're going in Chaplin's. And I said, no, because you can't vape in there. And the bloke on the door says, oh, you can vape in here, mate. So that's what we did. We went in. It's not a bad bar, that, Chaplin's. Where's the other? I like Peds, Uncle Peds. I like to get sat out there. Yeah, Charlie be there, yeah. Just imagine, I'm 59 years old. You know, I packed up drinking because it was, not doing me any favours. And all of a sudden I decide to start taking Charlie at 59. No, don't think so. I mean, I don't know anything about buying it. I'd probably end up buying 200 quid's worth of talcum powder or with my luck, I'd get done as I was walking around the corner just after. But I think I'll be all right. I'll get high off the bubbles on the top of the Diet Pepsi. You'd be proud of me tonight, John Paul. I've got Iron Brew. That's the drink for the choice of the week tonight while I'm sat watching telly. I had a lovely day Monday. That was another reason I got a really nice intro done, and then I thought, well, actually, it's the next two videos that's coming up on the thing, so I'll be giving away what I'm doing. And so I went drone flying over the top of some canals, and it was it's cracking day. It wasn't sunny in any way, shape, or form, but I did it in 4K 24. And it's made a really nice video up, but that's not on while the end of October, that one. I just post twice a week. Yeah, I went. I've done I did a video about. I don't know if you know what D-Log M is, anybody, but D-Log M is a setting on a DJI camera where you take all the colour out of it. It just does a really weak colour, and then the idea is you colour grade it yourself to make it look better. So the video I put up yesterday, that the reason that looks so bright and shiny there, I might have overdone it with the colour grading, to be honest, but it was a very, very beautiful day. But I caught the camera; it's got a setting on it. I'll see if I can show you. I don't know if it'll work out. I might not be able to show you. So what happens is, right, it's on. You get a good picture of me. So at the bottom, see if it'll focus. I don't think it's going to focus because it's a camera on a camera. So there's your ratios at the bottom. What you do with a DJI camera is you flick that up. So that's the various things that you can record on. So you've got, that's 4K 16:9. You can do 4:3. You can do 1080p. The good thing about 1080p is if you're away for a long time, it doesn't use all the memory up on the camera. And then at the bottom, you can do all the frame rates as well. So let me just set this right, 4K 60:9. So you've got 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, 100 and 120. But 120 is meant for slow motion, isn't it? So I have it set, that's how I have it set now. I have it set on there. And then you go into this bit. So it's the colour. Well, that little setting sets it into D-Log M. It actually shows you there, look, just there. But it just gives you a really watery background with no real colour in it. So, and that's normal. And what I did, I picked the camera up, I was recording, because the good thing with this camera, you can do shorts on it. So you just put it into this ratio, just by clicking it off the top. Like that. So that's how you would film shorts, or you would film for TikTok, because it's in a different aspect ratio. So I had it like that, and I must have picked it up like that, and I switched it into D-Log M, which meant when I got home, I thought I've ruined the footage, because I don't know how to colour grade. So I Googled it and found out how to colour grade now. But I showed my wife it, and she went, "No, I think you've been a bit overzealous with the colour there." I said, "Why?" She said, "It looks like the Bahamas." So I had to do it again. And I didn't put as much colour in it, but it still looks fairly colourful. But it just means you can, if you go out on a really grey day, you can actually make the footage look a lot more interesting. You're on the Pepsi Max Cherry. I do like Pepsi Max Cherry. Before I started being a drinker of pop on a regular basis, I always used to prefer Diet Coke. But I've got to be honest now, I really prefer Pepsi Max. I don't know what it is about it, but I just do. And I do like the different flavours that you can get in it as well. They also do Pepsi Max Strawberry. It's like a fizzy strawberry juice and a fizzy apple juice. Do you think you'll be able to not drink any alcohol at all in Benidorm when with mates? You've done well this so far, but maybe deserve a little break. No, I'm not. I won't. I've got to the level, to be really honest, Bruce, where it was taking control of me. And I don't think I want to go back to that, to be honest. It got ridiculous in the end. So, and I'd been after packing up for a while, I'll be honest. Used to get to that point where you just think, I can't keep doing this, And then obviously my blood pressure shot up sky high as well, and it scared me off a bit. But I don't know if you've noticed, I've got a bit of a personality. I don't really need alcohol to have a laugh. Yeah, I like Coke Zero as well. It tastes of almonds or something. There's definitely a different taste in there. One thing with this bug that I've got is you need a pretty strong taste to taste anything. Stuff doesn't taste of anything at all. I had Dr. Pepper Cherry last week and it just tasted like soda water. Didn't taste of oat, so that's how I knew I wasn't very well. I'm presuming it's this variant of the C word you didn't used to be allowed to say on YouTube for a while. Hello, Graham, spelt correctly. How you doing? Anyway, we're on the coffee. Even this, though, I've sat here, and I love coffee, and it just smelt rough. Well, that's right, isn't it? You've got to take. Sometimes you've got to be a big boy, haven't you? Really, you've got to take you've got to take a. I mean, I'd never really suffered with. Well, I used to get it down. I never drank while I was 23, 24. Then I found out I was quite good at it. But in latter years, to be honest, it got, especially since Lou was poorly, it got to the stage where it's like, well, I can't do that because I need to go get drunk. I can't do early jobs in the morning because I need to get drunk. I can't do an airport because, I drink on that night and I won't be able to do that. Which is just, you need to just bloody, you need to grow up, honey. You just need to grow up. So I've got off it for nearly a year. It's a year in November, so you might as well just not bother. Yeah, Rona. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. There's a new variant, isn't there? You do feel shitty. But the miracle cure for it, if you do actually, you are unlucky enough to get it, because it's pretty shitty. The miracle cure is paracetamol. And you take it, and within half an hour you feel like you're all right. And then at the end of, when they start to run out, the cough comes back as well, which is mad. So, how many people have we got in there? We just got the 3. That's the only thing now. When you used to fire one up on the vape channel, you used to get loads in real quick. And it makes a really good. I mean, obviously you're lots chatty, so it's not so bad. But if you get 2 or 3 in who don't want to chat, then it's really hard unless you've actually got something to share with everybody. Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you one thing, Bruce. What happens is you become a little bit. I don't know. You get a little bit. You don't seem to suffer them as much. Because you notice the different sides of alcohol when you haven't had it for a long time. It starts off as a bit of we're having a good time, then it turns into euphoria where we're having a really good time, and then they just start to tip over that edge like that, and then it comes on a downward spiral. Then they start getting a little bit emotional, a little bit tetchy, and then in the end they just end up to be a mess. Buckfast works for you. Yeah. I've never tried Buckfast. I think if anything, I had a couple of weeks the other week where I was desperate. I'll be honest. I come back from Spain. I'd never had one while I was there, and I come back, and all of a sudden, for some reason, it kicked in again, and I was fantasizing about drinking whiskey while I was driving down the road at 10 o'clock in the morning, and and you think, why? Anyway, it went away after a week or so. What tends to set you off is if you're watching like a period drama or something like that, and they've got these big, because whiskey was my real thing in the end, I suppose, and special brew, anything was. Drinks. Oh yeah, look, they used to reckon gin was a depressant. There's some people can't drink vodka, and a lot of people can't drink whiskey. They call it the firewater, don't they? Hello, Stephen. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. That was the thing. I think this last week or so, you sort of think, well, what I'd have normally done was got myself, well, I've got loads of scotch in the house, loads of bourbon in the house, and then I would just drink neat bourbon, because as the spirit runs across your throat infection, it burns it off, doesn't it? Makes you feel better. But anyway, I hadn't bothered. Whereabouts are you, Stephen? Give Stephen a follow if you get a chance. He's doing the same as I am. He's actually got more subscribers than me, but we've got similar haircuts. But I think my glasses are more trendy. Just saying. What was you filming? I don't know how long you've been married, Bruce, but I've been married 41 years in November. I'm married. My childhood, she wasn't my childhood sweetheart, she was my mate's sister, and I went to see her. And then all of a sudden, we were going to be parents at a very young age. And we're still together. I was 17 when my daughter was born. My daughter's 42 now. And it's not been, we haven't got on every day, especially in the early years, because we were only kids. But I wouldn't swap her for the world. She's amazing. There you go, look. Give Stephen a bit of a holler. Have a look at his stuff. He goes walking around castles. He does a similar sort of thing to what I do, but obviously I do it better than him. Not sure I've got more subscribers than me, but anyway, there you go. So he's well worth doing, and he does live streams as well. And he really enjoys it when people go in and tell him he's bald. So if you can just tell him he's bald, every time you go in there, he likes it. I've put the subscribers on this one. 41 years, yeah. Yeah, we had a really special party last year for our 40th. We took all the family out for a Sunday lunch in a beautiful pub near where my daughter lives, just down the road from where my daughter lives. And it's one of the nicest pieces of beef I've ever seen in my life. And she says, I said, I'll drive over and then we'll get a taxi back and then you can pick me up the next day and I'll get the cab back then. Creme Dome. Yes, that's it. And anyway, she says, no, it's all right. She said, I've got one of my friends to pick you up, and they picked me up in a 1962 Buick Riviera that used to belong to Conway Twitty, with all the trimmings on the door handles, the maroon on the door handles, and the ribbons and that. And we got halfway there, and I drove it to the thing. Yeah, nice bit of beef. Yeah, this was really good. It was. I don't know whether it's how they slow cook it or it was a good cut anyway. But if you go into a Toby Carvery, they do really nice. The one where we go to anyway. I've only ever been to that one. I do like their gravy. I like the Yorkshire puddings, and their beef is to die for, because I always used to order gammon or something because I can't stand beef to be overdone. I've not even known anyone for 41 years apart from your parents. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've been through the mill. We have been through the mill and all, and we've come out the other side of it. With first, my son he started with drugs and then went to mental health problems, and then obviously we just got him into the system properly so he gets helped properly, and then my daughter got bloody stage 4 cancer. Sometimes it would be really easy to sit there and think the world is awful. But you don't realise until you speak to other people have been going through it forever. I was talking to a lady last night, and she lost her daughter at 33 years old. She was absolutely fine at lunchtime and passed away in the evening of a heart failure, enlarged heart or something. So, medium rare, yeah. That's how I order steak. I tend not to order steak now, though, to be honest, because it's usually, unless you're in a fine restaurant, it's usually in sort of chain pubs and that. It's of a fairly low quality, and there's not enough fat on it for me. I like a big lump of fat down the side of it. They make it too lean, and they've got rid of all the thing. Bloody hell! What happened? You knew about that, didn't you? You must have missed out on that. Did you know Luke was poorly? Started just over 2 years ago. They did a big thing for her in the vape community. You see. You'll have gout next. Fine wine, port wine and red meat gives you gout, doesn't it? Apparently my cholesterol was a bit up. She said, you need some of them, what do they call them? I said, no, I don't want any of them. Oh, yeah. 33 or something she was. But say, you wouldn't have known that. I just got talking to her, and then she told me. I actually started telling her about, because her brother, he was a cab driver and he's retired, and I found out his wife wasn't very well. And I was just talking to her about that, and I said, oh, well, my daughter's got a similar thing. She's 42. She said, I know exactly how you feel, because my daughter passed at 32 or 3. And you think, well, I never knew that. And, you have it to do, don't you? Sometimes you've got to be grown up. So that was the thing with the booze and that. By the time you start with, you're a bit fed up, so you have a drink, and in the end you're fed up because you've had a drink, and then you've still got the problem, and then you're still drinking more, and then in the end it's just one big spiral, and you just end up poorly. They said, oh, you need some statins. That's what they said. I said, no, I don't want any of them. Well, you could have an heart attack, but the people on statins, a lot of people end up really poorly with them, don't they? But I've got the old man thing in a couple of weeks, where you've got to go and have a checkup once a year for your because your blood pressure medications. It'll be the first one, so I think I'll be a bit different to when I first went and got the other ones, because I'm 3 stone lighter for one thing, and my blood pressure, the last few times I've checked it, has been spot on. 140/80. And when I first started with it, it was, I don't know, what was it, 186, I think, over 105. So I certainly feel a lot better in myself. Yeah, it is sad. You never expect to go to your own child's funeral. 3 stone. Most of it's come off my head. I'm a 2XL now. I've been a 3XL for years, and I bought a 3XL. I bought a gilet to go walking in, and I thought, oh, that'll be all right. I'll be able to use that just for bobbing about in. And I thought, I'll get another one because they're only cheap, and I'll use that one for walking. So I ordered another one. When it comes, it's slightly bigger, and you can actually fold it round like this. So I had to get one. I thought, I'll try a 2XL, and if it's too small, I'll have to send it back. It absolutely fits perfect. They said statins fit me, but I said no. Just changed my diet. Cut back on the booze. Yeah, right back on the booze. I think like this. I don't know. I don't know what gives you cholesterol, but up the bum. Well, hopefully not. It's my daughter's friend that does the test. I don't want anything good up my jacks, especially if I've been to parties with this woman. I don't want any of that going on. So give the thing here and you go out, I'll do it myself. I think it's a blood pressure check and that sort of thing. They did it when I first went. They have to do an ECG to make sure you're all right, and it's not your heart. So, and they call her Sam. So no, you're not. You're not doing that, Sam. I'll do it myself. I'll never be able to look at you in the eye again if we go to a party. Oh dear. He put me off now, thinking about Sam sticking the fingers up my bum. That's it, I've lost it. But anyway, what else do you want to talk about? Lou's mate as well. God, this is just... I've never thought of that. If she's going to do that, I'll just walk out. I'll tell him that you said. I'm getting embarrassed thinking about it. Cheers, John Paul. I think I'll cancel that appointment. No, it's just blood pressure, I think. Let's see if the tablets are working. Yeah, 3 stone later, yeah. That came off pretty quick, though, when I stopped drinking. And I looked into a few different bits. There's a lot of people. It's a weird thing, because in America, if you drink 2 pints a night, you're an alcoholic. In the UK, unless you're waking up every morning and drinking first thing for breakfast, you're not really classed as an alcoholic, depending. But there was a bloke that explained it pretty well. He said that booze is the thing. Most people are at the top of the hole, and they just drink socially and have a good time. And one week they'll drink a bit too much, the next week they don't drink any, so it all levels up. But then you get the other people where you just end up, you've got a bit of a problem, not a drink problem, but you've got a bit of a problem going on in your life, and you start drinking, and gradually you start going down this big hole. And right at the very end of it is the people that drink in the morning. You know, that's where you end up wetting yourself and in public, and you know what I mean, and all sorts of things like that, and that's horrendous. And then you either die or you sort yourself out, get back up the ladder. But it gets to a point, really, though, if you're drinking lots and lots of alcohol, your liver struggles to process it. So I don't know whether that was what happened to me, because within about 2 months, I'd lost 2 stone, and I was constantly going to the toilet. As soon as I stopped drinking, I was constantly going to the toilet. So it was like my body was full of water, and it was trying to get rid of it. But I don't know. I'll ask her about that when I go for my test. Unless she says anything about up my bum. And then I'm out. Gone. Finished. With skid marks up the road outside. I once had to have that done for some reason, and it was a male doctor. And I said, it's a good job we know each other. And he looked at me with a look of absolute disgust, and I thought, you didn't really get the joke, mate, did you? I was just like nervously trying to have a laugh about something. So that was the last time he spoke to me. So we're going to watch the last of the Guinness thing tonight. We're on episode 8. It's been all right. It's by the makers of Peaky Blinders. It's not been as good as Peaky Blinders, though, I don't think. There's been a lot of 2 actors in a room stuff. Not a lot going on. And then just the occasional explosion. But then the last episode was good. But it's been done by Netflix, so I'm wondering if it's going to be like most things on Netflix, where they're going to spend the entire last episode setting you up for the next episode of the next or the first episode of the next series, which I think usually spoils stuff. It's more of a catch up, really. Everybody gets it at some point. You can have mine, John Paul. I'd love a doctor like Doc Martin. He was class. These seem all right where I'm going to now. When Lou she works at a doctor's surgery, and we moved to the one where she's at, because they're much better. They're just slightly out of town, and you haven't got to wait for 6 months for an appointment, which is good. And they've been brilliant. When they put me on that medication for the first few months, I didn't feel very well. And then I got in touch with them and said, oh, you need a bit more then. So they gave me some more, and I still didn't feel very well. Then I said to her one day, I said, look, I reckon, I said, I feel even worse than what I did before. So can we try something different? She went, yeah, of course you can. So put me on these other ones, and I felt a lot better straight away, really, within a week or so. But the ones I'm on are Ramiprils, and people, I've had no end of different... people say that you can get a rash from them and get real itchy, but they've never done me any harm. It just seems to take them all right. You got banned from your last doctors because you complained on Facebook. Yeah, it's amazing, really, because they all, it's like, your feedback is important, but they only want positive feedback. If you give them negative feedback, they get really moody ever so quick, don't they? one of the funniest things in the world, I don't know if I've ever brought it up. So my lad's schizophrenic, so he spent in the early stages of it when he was really struggling. He spent quite a lot of time in the mental health unit at Lincoln. It's called Peter Hodgkinson Centre, and they're amazing. They do a lot with not a lot. You know, you get these people in where they've been taking drugs for months, because that's what happens. It's a cycle with mental health sometimes, especially schizophrenia. They've got voices in their head, so they'll use prescription or non-prescription drugs to keep drowning out this voice. So they get there and they've probably got somebody after them for drugs, for money. They're scared as a rabbit. They haven't had any medication for months because the mental health conditions told them to stop taking it. And so they end up in there. And the difference is unbelievable, because when they first go and say, do you want some medication for your mental health? They go, no, I don't want any of that ever again. No, I'm never taking that anymore. So they say, well, try this other stuff then. So they give them some, and it makes them really hungry. And they provide them with as much food as they will possibly eat. There's 3 full meals a day. They get a full breakfast, a full lunch, and there's no limit on food at all, because when they go in there, they're really thin normally. He used to get so thin. And then they start to feel a bit better in themselves, and they go, do you want to try some medication today? And they go, oh yeah, I'll try it then. And then they get him up and they get him out there. And then the thing is, though, if they've got drug problems, a lot of times within a few months, they'll go back down the same thing. So they actually sent him for psychiatric rehabilitation. So they put him on a section for a year. And they were marvellous with him. They've been absolutely marvellous with him. But one of the funniest things in the world, if you ever look at it, is if you go online at the Peter Hodgkinson Centre, is their feedback section, because most of the feedback has come from people with a mental health problem. So you can imagine what it looks like. They threw me out with no medication, which never happened ever, for the simple reason that these people can be violent. My lad has to have a injection once a month to make sure he takes his stuff, because he can be violent if he doesn't take it. And they'd say the problem is with a lot of mental health problems, especially schizophrenia, it tells you not to take it. It said, we don't need that anymore. We're fine. Let's not bother taking any more of that. It's a horrible, horrible infliction. Schizophrenia, the poor bugger. So did you manage to get another doctor then, or do you have to present yourself at the A&E for 28 hours every time you get something wrong with you? He's doing all right. He's a charity that looks after him. It got really difficult because obviously when you get a child, or not a child, a grown man, they get themselves into all sorts of situations with money, regarding drugs and people that take advantage of people with mental health problems, and it gets to be quite a dangerous life, where, especially somebody with schizophrenia, if they're not medicated, they're capable of the most extreme violence, and they would literally kill somebody if they're in a psychotic episode, or themselves, which is the thing. Anyway, in the end, he didn't. I mean, I still, he texts me 25 times a day. And we're taking Christmas presents down and that, but we don't ever give him any money. I said to him when he come out from this rehabilitation, I said, I'm never going to give you another penny in your life. Because I said, you've had most of our money and it doesn't do you any good. Anyway, this charity took him over called P3. And so they found you a place, and they've got all his debts squared off that he'd, run up. And they just make sure he keeps his place tidy and that, and he's got a good little life. Got to go now, guys. Been a pleasure as always. Enjoy Benidorm. Yeah, keep your eye out. I'll do some videos or something. It might say the videos might be a while before they get on, but I'd like to do a bit of a walkabout, really, just to show people the other side of Benidorm, where it ain't got bars. You know what I mean? It ain't got that area. Yeah, catch you later, Stephen. Nice to see you. It's about time we went, and we're getting up to 48 minutes. I will have to start planning and doing a regular live probably on a Monday night, but I didn't feel like it this time. And do it in this sort of rather than doing it on a phone, I'll do it like this. because you do tend to get, you get better viewing figures and you ain't got people popping in to talk daft until you're bored. Bored, should I say. It's just nice, isn't it? Sit and have a chat. I love it. This is my thing. Just keeps you going. So I would like to get the channel going up to something serious, but it'll turn up in time. It took 4 years before we got 1,000 subscribers on the vape channel. So, best voice on YouTube. I don't know. This is the microphone. I actually sound like a 16-year-old girl. When I first started, I can't help talking. Well, obviously, I like to talk daft. I do. It's lovely. That's what it is. That is the thing I'm quite lucky with. And if you do these lives, you end up with a community of people like we did on the vape show. You end up with a community of people and you actually care about them. That is the thing. They end up being like your real close friends. And but when you do it in the vertical mode, you just get new people in each time. I mean, I suppose it's better for getting more subscribers to your channel. But sometimes it can be quite negative, when you just spend all your evening fending off idiots, which, just seems a bit pointless, doesn't it? But the amount of work you've got to put in to actually get something going is phenomenal. I seem to get more people to stay on the channel from doing lives than driving 50 miles and walking for 6 hours. So, I think the Chinese people have disappeared off the face of the earth. So I'm not getting my 7%. I wasn't even bothered about the 7%, to be honest. But they told me to join this partnership program, and they promoted the takings, and they've come out of it themselves. So they're obviously just a quick fly bit out. They're not going to pay anybody. A great relaxed voice. Now, when I first started driving a cab, everybody complained about I used to talk really fast, and I did. So it's something that we're doing video chats, and that's how I started for a start. And talking to American people a lot. You had to slow down a bit, otherwise they used to miss what you were saying because of the accent. And then I got used to doing that, and then obviously I've gone on YouTube, and I've sort of carried on with it. And I tend to talk like it in real life as well now. So, but I just start talking, and then I didn't understand what I'd said. It just used to come like that. And you're like, Christ, what happened there? The thought was there, and that was it. But I say I've got a pretty good setup. These microphones are second to none, and I've got the tone down. Yeah, it's a BlackBerry. Yeah, that's a BlackBerry. That's a Nokia 1100. I've got a thing to do. Would you like to look at my? This could take hours, by the way. But now you've asked me, I'll show you. This one is one of the stars of the show. That's the Nokia 8800. They fetch a fortune. If you've got the box with the AMI number for the phone on there, that was Nokia's top-notch version, the 8800. It has a little charging thing that you stand it in and it lights up. And they're really nice. This one's actually got a fairly good battery in it. I would imagine it'd be flat now. No, the battery's flat. But that's the 8800. That was their top of the range. They did a Carbonite as well. I actually had the Carbonite, but I had to sell that because it was worth about 800 quid, and I had a Toyota and the gearbox went, and that's the truth. And I'd paid a fortune for it, and I was keeping it forever, and I had to get rid of it. Motorola V3X. That was the iTunes version. That was the one after the other one. I think one of them was on 3. The ribbons have gone in them though, so the screens won't light up anymore. And I'm presuming you wouldn't be able to get any parts for it. Motorola V8. They did a V8 and a V9, but these were better than the V9. The V9 was a bit shit, but that still works. Fairly rare one, that, the Nokia E51. They also did one with I've got one with a black back on it and one with a silver back on it. They were a business phone. I can't remember what the reason for that was. That one's just a cheap one. My mum always dumps their old phone off down here. That was before when she got the Apple. I can't remember what that one was. And I never really used that one. Some of them are a bit stuck together. The plastic's gone off. That's an old, it's unlocked, but I can't remember what number that one was. I've got an English version of it, but this was the American version of it. That was the Nokia, made in Mexico, the 6065H. So that one will be a quad band, that. Because that was always the thing back in the day. That little blue one there, that's actually quad band. You could use that in America. It's worth about £8. BlackBerry Q10. That's the same as that one there. I bought one of them brand new with the fake carbon fibre at the back. I've actually got it would mean going in the other thing. If you look on my other channel, there's the one of the, what was it? Porsche Design BlackBerry. I've actually got a Porsche Design BlackBerry. Yeah, we'll have, yeah. Definitely will still have charge. I can't remember what number these were. These. Oop. There's the battery gone. There we go. These were only really cheap, but an absolutely brilliant phone. Chuck them in your pocket when you were going out. If you got nicked, it didn't matter. The Nokia 1112. 1112, I think. Another BlackBerry Q10. This time, it's been on Verizon. I had a bit of a thing about Blackberries, can you tell? There's the English version of that 608 whatever. Another Nokia. What's this one? A Samsung. That was actually my wife's old phone. That just got chucked in the box somewhere, so I put that one with the collection. That was an orange at the time. She had that for a long time. Another old Nokia. These were good, but they only worked in this country. They won't work. They would work in Europe, but they won't work anywhere else. Snake, yeah. There's the charging stand for that Nokia 8800. Another Nokia 11. I used to buy them off eBay. I got an obsession about buying them. iPhone, it's either a 4 or a 5, that. You can't use it anymore because it won't update the software. Look at that. An iPhone 3. Tidy, isn't it? A really, really old Nokia. The Nokia 2100. And then there was these as well. Some of them. Shit, they don't work anymore. I think this one was on 2G. If you could get a big, there's one of them I've got. I bought some really old classics. I don't know if it's this one, but if you could actually get one of the massive SIM cards, it would still work because it was on 2G. I don't know how you get the bloody battery off it. Anyway, there we go. That's a Maxon. With the aerial. That's when you knew they were. That's when you knew you got a phone in your pocket. Only ever had Apple phones since released. Before that, I'd all sorts. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, that was it. Once you got a new phone, it was a bit exciting. But so I've actually got the Porsche Design BlackBerry still in the box with every single charger that came with it. The headphones had never been taken out. I actually took them out to show people. I didn't do a review. I did a show and tell on my other channel, and like 4,500 people have watched it. But these were nice. I like them. That basically, that Q10 is the guts that is in the Porsche Design. Mine was the 9982. And in here, sadly, the battery is now gone. Kaput. But I used to use that. I still used to use it because it was nice and slim. Nowadays, a new phone is fun for a few weeks, but you just think it's just like my old one, but a bit faster. That's exactly right. So they're the original AirPods. Or the thing with the little plug on that plugged into that. I mean, really, I've got the 14 Pro Max, which is a cracking phone. But if I went and got the 17 Pro Max, it would be exactly the same because it's the same stuff in there, isn't it? I like these. I bought this off eBay. It came SIM-free in the times that phones weren't SIM-free. And they were a beautiful phone. And really good because they were the Razor. They were that thin. They just fit in your pocket. And we managed to get it SIM-free because I say at the time when you couldn't get SIM-free phones, and I bought it for my wife for Christmas. And that must be 15 years old. But I went in I fancy that 17 Pro Max, but the orange one because it looks really cool. But I say I've got the 14 Pro Max, and it's a brilliant phone. So I don't know if there would be any point really. Up to the 16 Pro, yeah. I love that Pro Max because it's like a computer screen. It's like a television screen. You can sit in the taxi and just use it, and it's just like a television screen. I had one of these. I think this might be the one. I bought it brand new from Carphone Warehouse at the time. It was a cost of about £600. I put it through my business, and I put a SIM expander in it. I don't know if this is the one. And if you put a SIM expander in them, and then pull the SIM card out, it wrecked the phone. And I don't know if that's the one, but it certainly looks like it was definitely that model. And ruined the bloody phone. So that's why I bought another one. But they weren't, they were nice and thin, look. Trouble is with BlackBerry, they sort of, in the end, they were a bit too far up the cells. And they were just putting, they'd sell you a phone where the battery wouldn't last while dinner time. And then when you looked on the thing, they'd be showing you ways of making your battery last longer, basically switching all the features off that you paid for it for in the first place. I had all the boxes for them as well. chucked them away. 14 Pro Max is what I used to watch you and others on YouTube because I have no PC. Yeah, yeah. I use mine day in day out. We've got Cloud Chucker in. Hello, mate. Sorry, I missed you. We're too busy looking at them phones. Are you all right, buddy? Nice to see you again. Yeah, this has a little light underneath. That little button there. Yeah, you could actually, because that, I don't know if you can see around the outside, that all lit up blue, and it would glow away as you were doing it. But and then you had a spare battery that used to go in there at the same time, because the original Nokia 8800s had really terrible battery life, so you had to charge 2 batteries up at once. But then when they made these, they made a better battery, and you didn't need 2 batteries; they would last all day. But what I did, I had the original Nokia 8800, and I bought the batteries for these, and they fit straight in. I've got what's that called? A Xiaomi with a huge battery, lasts about 4 days. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, the Nokias, you used to charge them up every night. But I suppose, really, what we use them for now is computers, isn't it? Browsers. You sit there and watch apps on it all day, so it is going to flatten. The 14 Pro Max. All right, I've got to go. Sue's ready for get picked up. Bless her heart. The 14 Pro Max must have a fairly big battery in it because it does pretty well. It's on 72%, and I've been using it quite a lot today. What's that? Let's have a look at this. I never do that. Ooh. I didn't use anything on there. Oh dear. And just in your local vape shop. Yeah, nice. Right, we're going to have to fly. What have we been on? 1 hour and 5. That's not bad for Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much for popping in. It wouldn't be really possible without you all. I'd be talking to myself. So thank you for coming in. It's really kind of you. I say we're really going to. I'm going to get back from Benny. I'm going to organise one for 9 o'clock on a Monday night, and we'll do a proper one every week, at least once a week, rather than just popping up on these random ones. And we'll let everybody know, and we'll all get going. Thank you very much. I'll let you have a look at my outro. Sorry, I didn't stay too long for you, Mike, but that was a text message coming through, which didn't beep for some reason, and. Sue wants picking up in about 10 minutes. Right, catch you all soon. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.